Welcome to another day trading video from the Verifore Trading Group. Today we are trading the FDAX using our long, medium, and short-term charts. Our strategies for this morning will call all three trending, counter trend, and reversal strategies. For money management, we will be using a stop loss of two points, and we will not be using a profit stop. This is because we mainly scalp the FDAX. We'll see how it moves wildly and sporadically in large number of ticks at a time. So we normally adjust our stops once we get into the trade, and sometimes we will put in a profit stop when we are nearing an area of support or resistance or somewhere to take profits, rather than moving or tightening our stop loss very close, because in the FDAX we'll be taken out very quickly. Okay, so as we start our analysis for the morning using a long-term chart, we see that the move was up, but now we've gone into an area of consolidation and kind of a triangle sort of configuration, and we can see really the exact same thing on our medium-term chart. Okay, analysis including the squeeze, we see an uptrend, but we see it topping off a little bit based on a consolidation. We see a downtrend with the histograms. However, the bias line remains green, so this would indicate a possible pullback scenario. At this point, we're not considering any analysis on 133 because we're not being told that a trade is on. Okay, so if we have to form any kind of bias or opinion right now, it's to the upside because our long-term chart is blue. We're heading up, and we have histograms saying that we should be considering long side. So what we're really looking for is a breakout of this area anywhere up in here, which if we look over to, so we're looking at 68.95. If we look over here, we could be using this swing high as a possible limit order. So we'll go ahead at this point and see if there's a limit order that we could place here.
Order pending. Order canceled. Order pending.
Okay, so we put our limit order in, and we'll see if we do get a breakout up to the upside here. Okay, now the waiting begins. Now that we are looking for a limit order, we see that our histogram is actually on the upside of the bias line on our short-term chart. We do get a longer, higher high being made on our long-term chart. So at this point, we're just waiting. Okay, we are filled here. Okay, we are up on this trade, moving nicely. Okay, our target got filled. So we are up at $187.50 on our first trade. Okay, now we're looking back to possibly get back in. We are seeing a yellow bar form, which means a continuance. So what we want to do now is reuse this swing high as a possible re-entry. So if we go underneath this, we may place another limit order just above it once again.
Order pending.
Or if it breaks even beneath this one, we'll use this as a swing high. Okay, also with the FDAX, if this turns into a yellow bar and then we start to see a blue bar close above that, we'll use a PBF trigger to get back in. Okay, now I did mention earlier in the video that for money management we weren't going to use a profit stop, but I ended up using a template. I selected the wrong template, so I made an error, and we did have a profit stop in there. Okay, as we can see, we're in the trade. At this point, we're long one, and I am going to, as I mentioned, I'm still using the wrong template. I mentioned a 2-point stop, so I'm going to move my stop to 2 points at least until we get to until we start figuring out how this is going to unfold. Or we will move to a plus position once we get up to 7 ticks. Okay, so we can clean up these lines a little bit because we have broken out of those consolidations. Okay, so everything looks good right now. We're saying we're getting up, up, get a little toppy here as we get near close to the high of day. Okay, so right now we're long in this trade. We're going to let it unfold a little bit. Okay, we're seeing it reverse a little bit on us here. Okay, at this point we're going to move our stop up, tighten it a little bit so we don't take a full stop. Matter of fact, we're going to place it a couple ticks below um, below the previous swing low. Well, swing high, I should say. But that hopefully this becomes support for us on the downside, or we'll be taken out here. Got a strong move to the downside here. Look like it's breaking through the previous support area. Okay, it's reversing back up, coming back down. Okay, we're going to go and tighten this so if we do take a loss, we still at least remain to the upside on this trade or for this session. Won't be by a lot, but we won't give back our entire gains. Okay, this is the challenge with FDAX. It moves quite a bit. So to use tight stops, we'll be ping-ponging our P&L all day long. So you can see I'm chasing my stop loss as we go back to hopefully at least break even. So what we're doing here is what we call managing a losing trade, and we're trying to mitigate risk as much as possible. It's kind of a weird way to trade, but this is how I found is the most profitable way for me to trade FDAX, where I start with a larger stop and I just manage it because it does, as you saw, came back against me pretty dramatically. So at this point, if we get taken out, we're still up for the session. Okay, we're in profit here. I'm gonna go ahead and sneak this puppy right. Oh, I kind of missed it. I was hoping to get the plus something. But again, I'm gonna tighten the stop up. So we're using a 6-tick stop right now. Hope we can get one more push up, but this typically a stop this tight doesn't perform very well. Okay, we got stopped out, so we went from 187 to 125. So we took a small loss there. Okay, now we're going to wait for another possible re-entry. Okay, again we look strong. So color blue direction or color direction squeeze. We have blue up, long side confirmation. We are getting a blue paint bar, and we are getting higher highs, green bias. We're starting to degrade a little bit down here. Okay, but that's it. Hopefully, it's just a pullback that we're seeing. Okay, I want to get at least one more trade in here. I'd like to at least get to 250, but we'll see. Okay, we're going to go ahead and consider using this is a possible re-entry if we go back down and start coming back up. We might even use a market order if we see that. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and put our entry up here in case we do break out. Again, we'll use a market order. If we come back down, if we cross this and start coming back up, we're going to use a market order to go long again. We're getting a dark green bar here, which is saying we've got further downside to come, at least on this sequence. But we can see we're bouncing around this range in between our two previous swing highs. Little unsure on what it wants to do at this point. Okay, big picture, long. We're flattening out a little bit here on the histogram on a medium term chart up from the squeeze, but as we can see, it's because we've gone into a little bit of okay. We're going to go ahead and see about getting back in here. Let's move our stop just above this guy here. So we'll have to wait. Hopefully we find some support here and bounce back to the upside. We are getting now a red bar forming here as we're getting some toppiness. And we knew that was coming because we saw this start to level off and make even parallel highs. Okay, but we're still seeing, okay, we're filled to the long side, so we're long. Okay, I'm going to keep my stop where it is right now. And because we're not seeing a whole heck of a lot of stuff going on here, we're gonna move our profit stop. See if we get a quick jump here to the upside and get filled. Because we're in a period of choppiness, rather than use our typical just stop loss management on the FDAX, we are going to start just going to pure scalping mode and try and make around 100, 125 bucks at a time. Okay, so it's pretty slow. It's 5:47 a.m. on the 1st of March. Pretty slow. These markets, this specific market opens up around 5:30. I'm sorry, 4:30, 5:30. You can tell I'm not fully awake. Opens up at 5:30, takes a little break around the 7 o'clock hour, and then starts up again and closes at 10:30 Central Time. I really like trading this because of the volatility, but it is definitely not for the inexperienced, because it really requires, as you saw on the second trade, very active stop loss management. Okay, so I still really believe that long side is the right play here. We just need to get a little bounce to the upside. Hope that it doesn't do a big retracement here. Okay, once again, we want to see some support in this area, which we did, which last time it didn't really, it went right past it for a little bit, but let's see what transpires here. Okay, we're looking at everything. So we look at everything here, big picture. 1500 hasn't changed very much. Price is starting to head down a little bit, a little toppy on the price, and we're seeing the exact same thing on our medium-term chart, but we're still wrestling with what the bar wants to do here. And we can see we're definitely in a pullback on the 133, as we can see by our yellow-red lower low prices, also reinforced by the histogram. We do have a red dot on the bias line, which is a little concerning, but not alarming. It's very surprising on the short-term chart that the bias line typically follows price direction, which right now is pulling back on us. So we are long one contract on the FDAX, and right now we're down about 5 ticks. And we're going to start managing our stop loss here if it doesn't start to move in a couple minutes. So what will typically happen on the FDAX, all of a sudden you'll see this thing just jump up and we'll get filled, or it'll just jump down and we'll get stopped out. It's not a very flow easy moving instrument. Now, at this time in the morning, it might kind of you'll see it flow down, but for the most part, when it's really live, it just moves in number of ticks. It just happens that quickly. Okay, so we're still down 4 ticks on this trade. Getting a little long in this video, so this might be the last trade, unless we get taken out for a stop loss. We'll end the video with hopefully 2 wins and 1 loss. So we got to see, number one, how we did our standard limit order above a swing high for a long position. And we also got to see how we manage our stop losses when we trade the FDAX. That's key to trading the FDAX. As we get in the trade, typically has big pullbacks. So we start off with a bigger than normal stop loss. And as the price starts to move back up, that's when we start to move our stop loss along with it. Again, it's just a technique that I found that works best with this specific instrument. It's not, we don't want to start with big big stops on, say, the TF or the ES or any of the other E-minis. Okay, not a lot going on here. Okay, now it's really moving against us. We got 5 ticks left in this trade. Okay, the other thing is I'd really like to see, okay, we see we got a green line, or a green dot on the bias line. Everything else pretty much hasn't changed other than we have a red bar. We're really hoping this still might turn blue. If price goes up a little bit closer to back to our entry point, we'll probably see this bar turn blue again. Unless it closes here, of course. Okay, we're back to minus 3 ticks on this trade. Okay, there we go, we're up. Okay, we got filled on that trade. And you can see it's taken off, but we're going to end the video here with a profit of $237.50 on 3 trades. We had 2 winners and 1 loser. So again, the summary is our long-term chart never really told us to go short. We did have an asymmetrical triangle, as we showed in the beginning of the video, which eventually broke to the upside. It kept telling us to remain in a long bias. Our histogram was to the downside, but we had a green bias line, and also had the same symmetrical triangle, which we broke out of, so we remained long side bias. First trade, we use a limit above for a entry. We then we're taking on a first trade with a profit stop. Second trade, we took a loser, but we managed our stop loss to the point where we only gave back $60. And on our last trade, we re-entered on a previous high with a limit order and took a profit stop, and end the day, or this session, $237.50. Good trading.